governor or senator or something else, that he told me that same answer. That is, the government is where the problems lie. We have to come in as an outsider and fix things. And that is what he's here to do.
Good to see you guys. And our future First Lady, I think she's going to set an example for kids across this country. So proud of her. We are doing this together as a family. I'll tell you what drew me to have that conversation with Apurva. About, a little over a year ago, we had that red wave that never came, actually. You all remember that, right? Why? They blamed everything from, abortion to Trump to this or the other thing. There's something deeper than that. I think we as a Republican Party, we have grown lazy. We are lost. That's what I saw last November. I didn't think about running for president before that, not in a serious way. But then we got serious to say we're a party that fails to stand for something. We criticize the left. But Biden bad, that was the agenda heading into that 2022 election. Biden bad is not an agenda. The left will give you a vision. It's not the right vision of race or gender or sexuality or climate. But we're sitting here criticizing that vision instead of offering an alternative vision of our own. What do we actually stand for? Individual, family, nation, God. That beats race, gender, sexuality, and climate if we have the courage to actually stand for something. And so that's what we asked at the start of this campaign. What does it mean to be a Republican in the year 2024? Which is actually, forget that question. It's a deeper question of what does it mean to be an American in the year 2024? We lack a good answer to that question today. You ask people our age that question, you get a blank stare in response. That is the vacuum and the void at the heart of our national soul. And this campaign is about reviving that national identity. What does it mean to be an American today? It means we believe in the ideals of 1776. Ideals like meritocracy and the pursuit of excellence. That you get ahead in this country not on the color of your skin, but on the content of your character and your contributions. That's why I've said we will end affirmative action and racial group quota systems in every area of American life. It's been a cancer on our national soul, and we're done with it. It means we believe in the rule of law. And I say this as the kid of legal immigrants to this country. That means your first act of entering this country cannot break the law. That is why we will use our own military to secure our own southern border and our northern border too. That's what it means to stand for the rule of law in the United States of America. It means that we, the people, create a government that is accountable to us, not the other way around. That the people who we elect to run the government ought to be the ones who actually run the government. Not the shadow government and the deep state that's actually running the show today. So you know what, if I can't work for you as your next president for more than 8 years, which I think is a good thing, by the way, then neither should any of those federal bureaucrats who are reporting into me either. 8-year term limits for the bureaucracy instead of civil service protections. That's how you actually drain the swamp. On day one, we will start a 75% mass firing of everybody in that federal bureaucracy. That is how you drain the swamp. Shut down government agencies that shouldn't exist. From the FBI to the ATF to the CDC to the U.S. Department of Education. We're not just going to tinker around the edges anymore. We will get in there and actually shut them down. This is how you revive our constitutional republic with 3 branches of government, not 4. Don't start with last year's budget as the baseline and try to massage it around the edges. We will start with 0 as our baseline and ask what's actually necessary. 0-based budgeting in the federal government. That's how I run my businesses. That's how many CEOs across this country run their businesses. That's how we need to run the federal government of the United States, and that's how we fight our national debt crisis in this country. It's not controversial. It's common sense. That's what we're going to revive. You know what? To get there, we do need elections we can trust and that we can believe in. It's not too much to ask. I'm going to deliver it as your next president. Single-day voting on Election Day as a national holiday. with paper ballots. Government issued voter ID to match the voter file. And yes, English is the sole language that appears on a ballot. This isn't a black idea or a white idea. These aren't even really Democrat ideas or Republican ideas. They shouldn't be. These are American ideals that we fought a revolution to secure in this country. And I believe deep in my heart that those ideals still exist. I'm running for president. We're in this journey to revive them. It's on the back of our coins, E pluribus unum. It means from many, one. That's what we've lost in this country. We've been taught to celebrate our diversity and our differences so much that we forgot all of the ways that we are the same as Americans, bound by that common set of ideals. And here's how we're going to get it back. It's going to be by all of us, not just me, not just Apurva, all of us speaking the truth in the open again. Say in public what you will say in private at the dinner table. Say it with a spine. Say it with conviction. Say it with respect. But part of respect is that you respect your neighbor enough to tell him what you actually think. And you see, that's what this campaign is about. Speaking the truth, not just to the other side, to the Democrats, but to our own side when necessary. Not just when it's easy, but when it's hard. There's a reason I'm the only candidate in this race who can even touch certain issues. To tell you that I will strip vaccine manufacturers of special liability exemption for being sued. Treat every company the same. I will strip those, and I'm the only candidate to say it. To tell you I'm opposed to that CO2 pipeline making its way across the other half of the state using eminent domain to wrongfully seize the land of innocent farmers who don't want that in their backyard. To tell you that it's based on a climate agenda that absolutely is a hoax because it has nothing to do with the climate. To tell you on a day like today, and I will keep it and I mean it on day one, I've said it for months, that on day one we will pardon every peaceful protester from January 6th on my first day in office because it's the right thing to do for this country. Ask yourself why I'm the only candidate who can even touch these issues. It's because our politics is broken, it's corrupt. Every politician today is dancing to the tune of their biggest donor. But you know what? In my case, that biggest donor is me. I don't report to them. I report to you, the people of this country. Frankly, I would rather speak the truth and lose this election than to win by playing some fake game of political snakes and ladders. Betting that's the winning strategy. But that's not up to me. That's up to you. The things I'm saying in this campaign, they're controversial not because they're false, but because they are true. That God is real. That there are two genders. Never thought I'd have to say that one. That fossil fuels are a requirement for human prosperity. That reverse racism is racism. That an open border is not a border. That parents determine the education of their children. That the nuclear family isn't a bad word. It's the greatest form of governance known to mankind. That capitalism isn't something we need to apologize for. It's the best system we still have to lift us up from poverty. Not crony capitalism, but the real thing. That there are 3 branches of government in the United States, not 4. And that the U.S. Constitution is the strongest and greatest guarantor of freedom in human history. That is the truth. We fight for the truth. We stand up for the truth. That is what won us the American Revolution. That is what reunited us after the Civil War. That is what won us 2 world wars and the Cold War. That is what still gives hope to the free world. And if we can revive that dream over group identity and victimhood and grievance, then nobody in the world, not a nation, not a corporation, not a virus, not China, is going to defeat us. That is what American exceptionalism is all about. And that is what we will revive to save this great country. Thank you for coming out today, guys. God bless you and your families. And may God bless our United States. America. We will not stop until we get this job done. Practice what we preach a little bit. Let's open this up. You guys have an important decision to make in about 10 days. Give me the hard ones. We'll start with that. Sir, we'll start with you.
This is a question I've wanted to ask you for a while, but I haven't done it because it's a bit off track. But maybe it'll tell us something about you just as a person. If for some reason you had to be isolated for a year, and all you could have are 3 books, what 3 books would you choose?
Ooh.
What 3?
You make me think on that one. The first is probably The Constitution of Liberty by Friedrich von Hayek. It's important to me. It guides a lot of my worldview, civic worldview. He sort of taught the importance of liberty, where freedom actually comes from. Our rights come from God. Is that right? I thought they didn't like my book choice. Is that, I don't know, the current federal administration. There's one threat that's probably a threat to the deep state. It's Friedrich von Hayek, right? So I'll tell you that. That's probably number 1 on the list. I'll start with that. And then number 2 on the list, we probably would say, actually, it's a biography of George Washington, actually. Start with the basics. You know, the first one would be getting me through my own difficulty of being isolated. The second one would be, it's actually, if you have some time to spare, we all should probably spare our time by learning a little bit about the founding of this country. I think a lot about this journey. I'm assuming that if that was what was happening right now, if I'm running for president, I want to start with the first president. I know about his history, but there's always something you pick up every time you read a biography of George Washington or Thomas Jefferson that you didn't pick up the first time around. And so maybe I'll leave you with those 2 right out of the gate. And I think that, we live in a 1776 moment, actually. It's a moment where we start with the basic rules of the road. Right? It's not about, we can talk about the tax rates. We can talk about, I'll tell you exactly what we're going to do to fix the border crisis. But right now, this is all downstream of who we really are as a people. And I think half the job of the next U.S. president, I think it's a good question to ask for this reason. Half the job of the president is policy. But the other half of the job is reviving our national character, actually. That's what Reagan said when he left office in January of 1989. Of all the things he could have picked, the thing he was most proud of was when he said we revived our national character that we lacked when I took office in 81. I think when Apurva and I leave that White House in January of 2033 after 2 terms, think a lot about what we want to tell you. I'll tell you, we shut down the deep state, that we grew the economy, we declared independence from China, we stayed out of World War III, secured our borders, all of that's important. But the thing I most want to tell you is that we revived our sense of national pride and identity in our 2 sons and their generation. I think that's the most important contribution I hope to make to this country as your next president. So that makes that a very fair question to ask. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. Sir, did you have a question? Or was it you said raising your hand? We'll start here and then we'll go back.
We hope you're the president because you have all the right ideas, and I think you appeal to Iowans too, especially with that pipeline thing. I hate to be the naysayer,
Please.
but I always have a plan B.
Okay.
If someone else gets to be president and it's a Republican, and what would be your plan B? Where would be a good place for you in the government if you happen to not be the president, which would be very sad, but what's your plan B? What's your plan B?
Thank you. What's your name? Pat. Thank you. So I have you guys deserve to know a little bit about me. I have like a defect in my brain, which is that I don't do plan B. It's just, it might work better that way, but I think in my adulthood I eventually lost the capacity for it. Because one of the things I learned is even early in my career, every time I would make and plot out some plan, it never goes according to the plan anyway. I tell young people, usually when they ask me a question about their own life plan, if they're in college, the advice I give them is your plans are stupid. Whatever it is, it's never going to go according to that. But follow your actual conviction. Be guided by your purpose. That doesn't mean you're entitled to achieve what you think is yours. But it does mean that you're guided by your true purpose. And in some ways, in the deepest of ways, I'm guided by my faith, actually. Our faith is what leads us to this journey. My faith is what leads me to run for president. And for those of you who are not aware, I'm Hindu. It's a slightly different faith than the traditional faith background of people who have run. Thomas Jefferson, actually, he was a deist. But most presidents have been traditional Christians. But for me, the core of my faith is the same value set, that God puts us here for a purpose. He gives us each our own unique God-given gifts, and it is our duty to use those gifts to do what's right in the short time that we're given. To realize that purpose, that we're all equal. God works through us in different ways, but we're still equal because God resides in each of us. That's the heart of my faith. It's what gives me my freedom, actually. When you think it's all being done by, at least for me, we fall into the trap sometime of thinking it's being done by me. And then you make all the plans and everything else. That's actually constraining for me. When I remind myself, when we ground ourselves in the truth, that it's not being done by us, it's being done through us. That's what gives me my freedom, actually. And so whatever God's plan is, that will reveal itself, and we're going to follow it.
Well, we need you somewhere.
Exactly. Well, thank you. But it's my conviction that the best place where I'm going to be able to lead this country is from the front. If I thought I could do it a different way, even outside of government, through the private sector, it would be a lot better for our family, a lot more convenient for us, with our now soon-to-be 4-year-old and our now soon-to-be 1.5-year-old. But we're going to do it this way because I don't think our country has the kind of time to say, if it was according to our plan, maybe we would be doing this in a later stage of life. But it's not about us. I think if Karthik and Arjun are in high school before we get this right, I don't think we have a country left. I think if the interest payments on our national debt become the largest line item in our federal budget, I don't think we have a country left. And that could be about 5 years from now. So this isn't about us. This is about what the country requires. And so, yes, I'm stepping up to use what I believe are those God-given gifts to do what's right. I think it's going to take somebody coming from the outside, as Apurva said, and that's going to be a requirement. But also somebody from the outside who knows and deeply understands the law and the Constitution in this country. It's going to be required. And those two things don't usually go together, right? You'll have the business guy, the executor, the outsider maybe over here. You'll have the legal academic type over here. But those two things don't usually go together. And so that's what gives me my sense of purpose and conviction. And so the commitment I'll make to you is no matter what happens in this election, we are in this for doing whatever we can for this country. This country has given us enough. This is about now passing that on to our kids and their generation. Not a bunch of green piece of paper to our kids' bank account. That's not what's less important than the country that allows them to live and their generation to live the same American dream that we did. But it is my firm conviction that the way I'm going to be able to actually get that job done, to actually reach and lead the next generation of Americans, to actually reform a government that has lost its way and the corruption that frankly has come from both parties in Washington, D.C. is to do this as your next president for the next 8 years. And the beauty of it is that choice belongs to the folks who are in this room already. How many of you are familiar with the Iowa caucus? How many, just by show of hands, how many of you participated in the Iowa caucus before? About half of you. The other half of you haven't. That's why I think we're going to win the Iowa caucus in a massive surprise. See, the polls that Jake told you, the only poll of people who have been to caucuses in the past, many, if not most of our supporters are first-time caucus goers. We're going to deliver a shock on January 15th. And if I win the Iowa caucus, I am your next president. And if I'm your next president, we get done the things I'm telling you we're going to get done. Every one of your votes there is the million people's impact. So you do your part, Pat. I promise you, our family, Apurva and I, we're going to do ours. And I'm confident that our best days, not in some fake politician kind of way, but in a true way, that our best days can actually still be ahead of us. And it's our job to lead us there. So we will, Pat. I'll go to you and then come to you, Rowdy. Thank you.
I am very interested in what you would do about the border.
Yes.
I talked to one of the other grandmothers in Denver the other day, who she and her husband are reticent to go
Yes.
Because of the tens of thousands of immigrants that live in Denver.
That's right. Well, we shouldn't even call them immigrants, really. That implies they came here legally. The people who came here illegally, I mean, that's really, we have 8 million in this country or more. We have lost our ability to estimate. So let me tell you what we're going to do. Very pragmatic plan. I start on day one when I enter office, and most of this we have done by March of 2025. First, start with south of our own border. End any dime of our own money going to Central America or Mexico and require them for each of those countries to build a border wall on their own borders all the way from Venezuela to the northern border of Mexico. Keep in mind, 80% of the people crossing that southern border through Mexico don't come from Mexico. So this is the easiest thing we can do, and we're paying for it right now. End that. That's number one. Number two is not just building the wall, not just the basic physical barriers, aquatic barriers in the Rio Grande. Those actually work well, too. We'll do all of that. But more importantly, as commander-in-chief, I will move our own military to our own southern border and our northern border, too. That's how we seal that southern border. We got 40,000 sitting in Germany, for example. Why? They don't even spend 2% of their national GDP on military defense. They're exploiting us. We're going to use our own military to protect our own borders. Then we have that border crisis sealed. Now you get to the best border policies of all. End the incentives to be here illegally. We will stop using our money to pay for federal sanctuary cities to subsidize breaking the rule of law. That ends on my watch. And then I'm going to go further than the rest of the Republican Party here. What I'm about to tell you goes beyond the acceptable bounds of what Republicans even are allowed to say, but I will do it as your president. We will end birthright citizenship for the kids of illegals in this country. It does not apply to them. The Constitution says so. You got to read the opening words of the 14th Amendment. If I'm going to swear an oath to the Constitution, I might as well actually keep it. January 20th, 2025 going forward, birthright citizenship for illegals is behind us. And then I'll do the hard thing. And I think this is a hard thing. But we have to have the spine to do it. Anybody who's in this country illegally will be returned to their country of origin. That's the right thing to do for this country. Now, they've told past presidents, including Trump, you can't do this because there's only 6,000 ICE agents, Immigration and Customs Enforcement agents. How could you possibly get that done? Answer. And it requires a president who knows and understands and uses the law to get the job done. The law already allows ICE to delegate their warrant service power to local law enforcement, police officers across this country. All we need is a president with the spine to actually use that existing legal authority. And now the country that put a man on the moon can absolutely get that job done. So by March of 2025, our border crisis is behind us. And by the end of 2025, by the end of my first year in office, most of our mass deportations are underway behind us, and we restore the rule of law in the United States of America. And I say this as the kid of legal immigrants to this country. That's not xenophobic. That's not racist. It's what it means to stand for who we are, a nation founded on the rule of law. And that much I am confident I will be able to deliver you as your next president. I promise you we will. That's a promise I can keep. Rowdy, we'll come to you, and then we'll go to you for the final word.
Thank you. Something I think we can all agree on in this room is I would like to see us become America, become PC, and that is patriotically constitutionalist.
Oh, I like that. That's the PC we like.
So before I get to my point, I'm going to see you at the Rotunda at the Capitol on Wednesday. That's the 10th.
About the pipeline issue.
Pipeline.
Yes.
And I think as many as can get there. The people in the legislation and the governor's office need to know that Iowa's people, not just farmers, we are against the pipeline and the fraud, which is climate change, which is a hoax. Yes. Farmers need carbon dioxide in the atmosphere to
Yes.
grow crops.
Carbon is plant food, period.
Absolutely. Okay, now here's my point. If we have sanctions, for instance, against Iran because of their militant outreach and so forth, and also Russia, I think we ought to have sanctions against any country that engages in the production of pathogens and or so-called vaccines or which actually kill and injure people. And that needs to stop. And that especially includes China, and also the idea of fentanyl coming here is like a pathogen.
I want to say a word about that's exactly what I was going to go with. That actually is people call it the fentanyl epidemic. They'll talk about the deaths from overdoses. Don't call it that. It's basically poisoning in this country. So you can't make this stuff up. The synthetic materials to make synthetic fentanyl come from, of all places, Wuhan. You can't make this stuff up. Going to the Mexican drug cartels that are lacing that fentanyl into illegal pharmaceuticals. I was here in Iowa. I met a family. Derek and Kathy are the parents' names. Sebastian is their 17-year-old son who took a pill. It was Percocet. He got it on Snapchat, swallowed it. Turns out he died hours later because it was laced with fentanyl. He didn't know it contained fentanyl. He didn't sign up for a death sentence. Most of that fentanyl is coming from the synthetic lab ingredients coming from Wuhan to the Mexican drug cartels. The same country that, by the way, unleashed hell on the world with a man-made virus in a lab in Wuhan. So yes, we have to have the spine to stand for what's right, especially versus China. As part of the core of my foreign policy, we're going to avoid World War III, get Russia out of its alliance with China. They're working together, break that apart, and I'm going to end the Ukraine war on terms that require Russia to exit its military alliance with China. Sending $200 billion of our taxpayer money so some Ukrainian kleptocrat can buy a bigger house. No, use it as a chance to accomplish something for this country. Do that. I'll declare economic independence from communist China, including our pharmaceutical supply chain. 95% of our pharmaceuticals coming from China. That ends on my watch. Bring that production to the United States and to our allies. And then I will use our own national defense spending to actually defend our own homeland. And the fact that that's a radical idea tells you the broken foreign policy establishment in both parties has led us astray. We're going to lead us back to what this country was founded on. The people we elect to run the government should run the government, and the duty they owe is to the citizens of this nation, not any other one, the United States of America. So I appreciate that, Rowdy. Man, we'll come to you, and if we have time, we'll give you the final word then after that, sir.
So I have a question on the military. It
Yes.
seems like the Democrats keep decreasing the military spending. So where do you stand on the military spending when you say you're going to decrease
Yes.
the federal departments?
So I actually, this is the first time I've been asked this in a long time. I actually think we need to spend a little bit more on our military, but we need to spend it in the right way. So not enough of our military spending has even gone towards our own national self-defense. Border defenses are a military function. It's a basic function. We're using our military to defend somebody else's border. We're not even using it to defend our own border. That changes on my watch. We absolutely will. It is an invasion. If that was happening on our western border from about 3 million Asians or on our eastern border from 3 million Africans, we'd call it an invasion. It's not any different when it happens on our own southern border. Cyber attacks, super EMP, electromagnetic pulse attacks. Just by way of show of hands, anybody have heard of the EMP issue? Good number of you here. Good. Because that could take out our electric grid in a matter of days, not doing a darn thing to protect against it. So this is what we need to be spending on. Now that would be, upwards of $100 billion to really harden our electric grid, to save what would be about a third of our population that would die if they did take a full-fledged super EMP attack across this country. They could do that without even nuclear weapons now. Nobody in either party is talking about it. Why? Because many of them don't know the first thing about it. More of you in this room probably know more about this issue. Dare I say it, I don't mean to be insulting because it's just the truth, than more of my fellow people running for U.S. president right now. So we require a commander-in-chief that just not only spends more, because that's not, what's the point? They'll say it's military expense, shipping more money to Ukraine. That doesn't count. In fact, that counts against us because it's increasing the risk of World War III while wasting our money. The increase is the smaller part of it. The bigger part of what I'm going to deliver is spend it on the right things that defend our own homeland. If that can happen on October 7th in Israel, that can happen right here at home in the United States. And so if I'm talking to Bibi, you know what I'm going to tell him as an ally? You have the right to defend and you have the obligation to defend against the terrorists on your own southern border. You know what? We're going to smoke the terrorists on our own southern border as well. Protect this nation, and that's what national defense means to me. Defending Americans in our own homeland. And if we have to spend a little bit more to do what we are, but we're going to spend it in the right way, and that's the kind of commander-in-chief we deserve. Thank you. I appreciate that. Jake, we have time for one last one? Okay.
Earlier you talked about the national debt, but how important do you think is the personal debt that people are allowed to get, and the laws that allow these companies that, I guess I look at it, if Al Capone would have did things the way we're doing it now, these title loans and everything that we do on Main Street, that we cripple people's future, and we leverage 5 years of their earnings today. I mean, what can we do to change that? And why don't we consider fentanyl as amount of like a chemical warfare?
Well, I do consider what they're doing with fentanyl as chemical warfare. Thank you for calling that what it is. If you put fentanyl in a Big Mac, we wouldn't call it an overdose. You'd call it what it is. Poisoning. It's closer to bioterrorism. And that's why I said we would use our own military on our own southern border to put an end to this. Now, I think the question underneath that is the first question, there's something deeper going on there, is we've lost our culture of national responsibility at the same time that we've lost our culture of personal responsibility in this country, too. We've become a nation of sheep, actually. And a nation of sheep is what breeds a government of wolves. We've bought this aid showered from on high. Lyndon Johnson's Great Society.
Bingo, bingo, bingo.
Thank you.
Bingo, Lyndon Johnson.
That's where it began.
Exactly.
Thank you for, I love this room because you guys know from EMP to the Great Society. You guys are my kind of people, right? This is true. This isn't, I mean, the Republicans and Democrats bickering at each other about whatever happened yesterday. You're missing the point. This began with the original sin. I mean, actually, you're going to go into this. One of my executive orders on day one is Executive Order 11246, written by Lyndon Johnson. I'm taking a Sharpie marker, crossing it through, requires every one of these businesses that does business with the federal government to adopt these quota systems. They started paying single mothers more money not to have a man in the house than to have a man in the house. Now, 25% of kids are fatherless in this country. In the name of helping black Americans, we got a 45% black fatherlessness epidemic in this country. It wasn't that in 1950. It's not just black communities. It's Hispanic, even Asian, and certainly white communities too. Fatherlessness is an epidemic in this country. Why? You get what you pay for. You get what you, of course, in the short run you do. But we're opening people's eyes. We're bringing people from a lot of those communities along with us in this journey to say, they've actually, in the name of compassion, that's actually cruelty. Paying people more money not to go to work. To stay at home instead of to go to work. Now, that's bad for our economy, because if you're a small business, the hardest thing to do today is find somebody to fill an open position. It's bad for the economy. That drives a supply chain shortage. It drives inflation. But here's the dirty little secret. It's even bad for the very people you're supposedly helping. It's not good for those single mothers, because those kids are then 8 times more likely to end up in jail, 10 times more likely not to graduate from high school, or to end up in poverty. The kids who are staying at home, people my age and younger, playing video games, smoking pot in their parents' basement, it's not good for them either. That's what drives depression and anxiety. And by the way, to bring this full circle, fentanyl and opioids and suicide. It's not an accident. So I've said it as your president, I will stop using our money, and it is our money. I'll stop using our money to pay people to do the exact opposite of what's actually best for them and revive actual virtue, revive actual responsibility, revive actual pride in this country. Our inner animal spirit in this country, it has been domesticated, it has been tamed, whipped into submission by this new culture that celebrates victimhood and penalizes excellence. Our culture of excellence, it has leapt oceans to lift up places like China, while their culture of Maoist victimhood has leapt back all the way here to hold us down. And when we rallied behind the cry to make America great again, we did not just hunger for a single man. We hungered for the unapologetic pursuit of excellence in this country. That's what it means to be an American. That's where I'm leading us. And our movement, I'm going to close with this. You have a decision to make in about 10 days, guys. And I'm asking you to make the right one for this country. Our America First agenda does not belong to Donald Trump, just as it doesn't belong to me. It belongs to you, to us, to we the people, the citizens of this country. This didn't start in 2016. This started in 1776. And we owe it to our founding fathers and to this country to make sure the road doesn't end here. And I say this because I worry they're leading us into a trap right now. It's hiding in plain sight. If you think, and I say this because there's only 2 candidates that matter in this race. It's Donald Trump and myself. The rest is a professional politician distraction. I respect the heck out of the man. He's the right guy for the country in 2016, and I respect the heck out of what he did for this country. But if you think they're going to let him get anywhere near that White House again, I'm going to ask you to open your eyes and not fall into that trap. These people, they will stop at nothing. And I mean nothing to stop that from happening this time around. Last time it's a man-made pandemic, and what happened with big tech on the eve of the election. This time they're not going to leave that to chance.
They're going to do the same thing to you.
Well, you know what? I understand the law and the Constitution, and we are in the middle of a war in this country. Think of yourself as picking a general in that war, a war for the survival of this country. If you want a general in this war, pick a general with fresh legs that is not yet wounded in that war. And I will use the law and the Constitution in ways that will not allow them to dupe me in the same way. They said you couldn't fire those civil servants because of civil service protections. Read the law. They don't apply to mass firings. Mass firings are what I'm bringing on day one to the D.C. bureaucracy. In this case, we need a landslide to do it. We're bringing young people along at a scale this party hasn't seen. 40% of our donors are first-time ever donors to the GOP. That's 2% for the other Republicans. So yes, we'll deliver a landslide, and a landslide minus some shenanigans, better expect it, is still a victory for this country. And so I'm asking you to do the right thing. The man got this fight started, and we love him for it. But it is now our job now to finish it. And we owe it to this nation and to our founding fathers to do the right thing. Skate to where the puck is going. Do not fall for that trap. And if you all get this right, if we get this right on January 15th, then we don't anymore have to be this nation in decline. We don't have to be at the end of ancient Rome. I think what George Washington would say if he were here today, I think I would know that after I got out of that isolation room reading the book about him. What would he say? I think he would say that as a nation right now, we are still a little young. Going through our adolescence, figuring out who we're going to be when we grow up. And yes, you know what? You still have another 250 years and then some left. We did it in 1776. It didn't happen automatically. We had to step up and make a sacrifice to do it. So too do you do it today too, to keep that republic alive. That's what George Washington would tell us. So if you all do your part, I promise you, our family, Apoorva and I, we will do ours to make sure that our kids will still grow up in a country where they get ahead with their own hard work, their own commitment, your own dedication. And that you know what? You are free to speak your minds at every step of the way. That is the American dream. That is what we are running to. And with your help on January 15th, that is what we will revive to save this great nation. Thank you for coming out today, guys. God bless you and your families. And may God bless our United States of America. Thank you. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Hey, guys. Thank you for being here. We have some time to do some photos, so if you want to get a camera ready, come up, get a photo with Apoorva and Vivek. One last thing. We still need precinct captains. We need, and I don't want that to be. You got one here. We need.
That guy's the man. I liked his.
Perfect.
Yeah.
We need as many people. It's not intimidating, guys. This is literally standing up at your caucus, and you can speak from the heart while you're supporting Vivek, or you can read a letter from Vivek. But we need people willing to speak the truth. We need people willing to go out there and take that next step and speak at the precinct caucuses. So if you're willing to do that,
thank you.
There's a place to mark it on the card, or come see our staff back here. We'll get you hooked up, get you all the swag you need, and let's shock the world on January 15th. God bless you all.
Thank you, guys. I think we're going to do it. These guys could be good. Awesome. Great questions, guys. Thank you. Yeah, come on up, man. It's good to see you, brother. Good to see you. How you been?
You guys came to the last of it.
Yeah, they've been putting in the work for us.
And we'll move through here, and that way we can get you all taken care of.
Thank you, man. Proud of you. Yes. Thank you.
sir.
If you help us get some of those precinct captains to these sites too, would be awesome.
We're on it.
Because precinct captains are key, actually.
We're with you.
Thank you.
100%.
Whoever you think could be a good speaker, even, those could be the kind of people we want. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you, man. Hey,
Hi.
Right in.
it's good to see you.
Good
Thank
to
you.
see you. Nice to meet you.
You're so beautiful.
Oh, thank you. Oh, that's so kind.
Right here. Perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you. Spread the message, and we're going to do this.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. It's good to see you, my
I'm
man.
pulling for you, buddy.
Thank
I'm
you,
pulling
man.
for you.
Thank you. We're going to do this.
Yep. My feeling
With
is
your help,
I'm
we're gonna
going
make this
down-
happen.
I'm going down a different way. Ain't going down the same way.
Oh, that's okay. Well, here we go. We're going up. That's my job to deliver it to you. Okay.
That's right.
I promise you that. Thank
I
you, brother.
agree with you. Don't need a plan B.
Thank you.
Plan A is keep going. When you get here, go there, go there, go there.
Yep,
You
that's
don't
right. That's
back
just how
up.
I'm wired. That's how I can't do it any other way.
Me too.
Thank you, man. Thank
Love
you.
it.
Thank you, man. I appreciate you being here. What's your name, man?
Colin.
Colin.
Nice to meet you. Hey, got a quick question. What document would you take the oath of office on if you were to win?
On the Constitution, actually.
Just
I thought a lot about
Constitution.
this. Yep.
Okay,
That sounds. Somebody asked me this a couple months ago, and I had a chance to think about it. It's like the Friedrich von Hayek view.
Yeah.
Put it on the Constitution.
Right on. It's cool.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
Nice to meet you.
Appreciate that. What's your name?
Paul.
Paul.
There you go.
Thank you. Thank you. What's your name, man? Paul. You have you been to one of our events before? I feel like I.
No, I have not.
Oh, you look
Nope.
familiar. Sorry if I
Nope.
mistook you for someone. Good seeing you. Thank you for being here. Thank you.
Hello.
It's
Very
good seeing you.
impressed. Yes.
Thank you.
Glad we came.
Thank you for being here, guys.
Yes. Thank
Spread the
you.
message in this community, and we're going to do this. Thank you, guys. Yes, we will. Thank you.
Nice to meet you so much.
Thank you. Hey, good to see you.
Sorry,
Good.
Nice to meet you.
Good to see you
I'm a
guys.
cardiologist.
You are?
Family practice.
Oh,
and we
amazing.
came from Peoria, Illinois this morning.
Oh, thank you for coming, guys.
And this
Thank
is
you for
my
driving.
K-man.
Thank you. Oh, is that right? Your K-man?
He's
Your
my
K-
K-man,
Oh,
Kushal. He's at
Oh, nice.
Northwestern.
Awesome, man.
And that's Shreya.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much for what
I
you guys
appreciate
are
it,
doing.
guys.
And Adi Bhanti and we are friends. So I missed
Oh,
you in
awesome. He's a
Peoria
good dude.
because we were in Greece. So
Well, I'm
we
glad
just
you guys
take
are here.
pictures.
Hey, I know you're from Illinois, but if you
Yeah,
are
yeah,
able
no,
to
we are-
support us in Iowa, even volunteer, make some phone
We are
calls.
actually going to Cedar Rapids in Iowa City. The
Awesome.
entire group of Indian physicians there.
Oh,
That's
excellent.
where I'm going after this. So-
Excellent. And then
so-
bring them to the caucus is the key, January 15th.
Yeah.
If
you
we
so
do
much.
that, we're going to, it's the number one thing.
Thank you
More
so
than
much.
any financial donation or anything. That's the most important thing. Thank you.
so much.
Thank you so
Thank you,
much.
guys.
for all
I
the trouble
appreciate it,
you
guys. Thank you, guys.
Thank
I appreciate you guys. Thank you for being here, okay? Thank you. Hey, man, how you doing?
How are you, man?
We'd love to
I'm
have you
here
as a
this
precinct
way.
captain.
Oh, I am. I'm gonna
Amazing.
do it. I
Love
took
that.
off. I'm an actual truck driver.
You're a truck driver?
Yes, sir.
Oh,
You know, we did the truck. Do you come to a trucker event in Walcott?
When is it?
No, we did it.
had it.
We had
Oh,
it at the biggest truck stop at the
So,
I-80. That's
not
all
to
right. We
hold
got
the-
your back.
Not to hold the line, but I had to take off to make it here.
Oh, you did.
I'm all the way from
And I know
Burlington.
how much that time means to a trucker,
Oh,
man.
man, I
They-
drive
they-
all the
they-
time, so
no, but
for some
your
people,
time is valuable.
I get
Is
it.
the answer. So,
Cool.
thank you, man.
Thank you, man.
Spread the message to your fellow truckers.
Definitely.
And if
we
you're,
talk about you all the time.
oh, you do?
Yes,
Nice.
we do.
Appreciate that.
Don't believe the polls.
Oh, I don't believe the polls for 1 minute, man. Yeah, thanks. I think we're going to dominate this. Bring them out for me, man.
I will.
Thank you. Thank you. Good to see you.
Right here, guys. And then go ahead and step in.
Thank you. Hey, good to see you.
Right here.
I love my truckers.
Perfect.
Good to see you, man. Thank you. How old are you, brother?
15.
Thank you for being here.
Stephen Milner.
Good to see you, Steve.
see you too.
Thank you. Spread the message, and
Good luck to you.
we're going to do this. I think so.
I hope so.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been to 3.
Oh,
Good to see you, man.
Thank you.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
I
for
took
being here.
another photo, it didn't turn out so.
Oh, well,
Okay.
let's
All right. Well,
get
come on in.
another shot.
You're allowed to get another one.
One here, okay? Right here, man. One this way.
Hey,
Awesome.
spread the message in this community and bring them out for the caucus.
Yeah, I live in Iowa City, so.
Oh, you do?
Okay, well,
Well, do
let's
in Iowa
just-
City then.
Definitely need it then.
We needed them up there too.
Yeah.
You sign up with a volunteer for us. You're a young person. I love your energy. Bring them out for us.
Yeah.
We're counting on you.
Thank you.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hey, good to see you again. I met you yesterday.
Yes, you did.
Good to see you.
Nice to have a real doctor in the White House.
She's a good one. She's a good doctor. Thank you,
I
man.
liked your tweet today. Yeah, it is Entrapment Day.
It is Entrapment Day.
I think it's worrisome that I was actually scared to like it. I was like, I don't know if I want
Yeah.
to put it on the record. I still liked it.
Yeah, but it's what it is.
That's today's reality.
But what decision did you end up making?
Oh, of course, I kept the like
Good,
there.
good. Well, good. Don't have fear is what I would say. Don't have fear. Thank you.
Show you this.
Oh, wow. I love that. You're our guy. This is going to be our precinct. I mean, he's
And
going
I
to
just want to say thank you. I think it's great you made the declaration how many counties you've been in. But truthfully, it's just that you're coming to the people instead
Yeah.
of expecting the people to come to you.
Thank you for saying that. And you know what? This double Grassley thing, we didn't plan it. It just so happened that we did it. Actually, yeah. That's exactly the deal. Thank you. I appreciate it.
So much. I know.
I mean, I learned so much, and we're so this is what gives me our energy. People say, "Are you tired?" I get energized by meeting the people. And that's the real boss. You're our kind of guy, man. You're asking the question about our sovereignty. That's what this is about. Tell the people at the caucus that I'll be the candidate who fights for our sovereignty. I love that. Thank you. Thank you, guys.
You drove by the house yesterday. You
Oh my
came to
gosh.
Mechanics.
You kidding me?
When
Oh,
the
really?
bus turned into Mechanics.
Thank you. I'm so glad. We could have popped in. That would have been fun. Take care, guys. Thank you. Good to see you.
See you again.
Good to see you again. I love that.
Late afternoon.
That's what this is about.
Oh, sorry. Awesome.
You're all kind of thinkers. So.
Well, we were the ones that got there late last night in Monticello.
Oh, that was you.
And the state representative from North Carolina introduced us.
Yeah, from South Carolina.
South Carolina, yes.
Matt Lieber. Yeah.
Our daughter-in-law is a doctor. She was a combat nurse in Afghanistan.
She
And
saw
we
some
have a lot of military in her family, so.
Love that.
Sounds amazing.
Oh, she's
Tell her thank you for her service.
Oh, yeah.
We appreciate it.
She does quilts of valor
I
for
do quilts of
veterans.
valor for veterans.
Thank
It's
you.
a very humbling and good experience.
Yeah, and a good thing to do.
Yes.
Actually, to have a sense of pride in the country.
Well, you know what? If you get elected, I'll be sending you a quilt. I'll make one for you.
We'll hang it up in the White House.
We'll put 1776.
That's what it should say. Thank you so much. What's your
Vote your
name?
truth. Kim.
Kim. Good to meet you.
Bill.
Bill. Thank you for being here.
Be careful in your travels.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. We pray for our
Looks
family.
like you
We'll be
got
grateful.
some good muscle. I appreciate them guys.
Thank you. Yeah, that's what we need. Anyway, I won't tell you why, but we'll be. God is the ultimate protection, but we'll be taking the steps that's on us to
We'll
take
pray
to
for you.
spread the message here. I think we can do this. Thank you. Hey, good to see you again. How are you?
Recognize her?
Good to see you. How are you?
She first saw you.
Saw her
in Muscatine.
before. I don't know if we've met before.
No.
Okay, good to see you.
I'll turn it here in a second. One more.
There we go.
Oh, he wants him first. When you did Marianne Miller
Yes.
Week at the country club?
Yeah.
Okay, so that was the first time she saw you.
Oh,
I
really?
saw you once before that. And when we got home that night, she said, I like some of his ideas, but there's no way I could vote for him. So I kept getting her out and out.
Yeah.
And she's the one that insisted I come today.
Oh, that's excellent. What do you think? What do you think was the initial impression? It's actually very helpful for me.
Right.
It's
Don't
everything.
give that up.
I think she just had to get used to your openness and directness.
Okay, good.
She's conservative, but she's more middle.
Okay.
And so it was that taking that edge off it. And
Thank
that's
you.
what I told your wife at Cordata.
I appreciate that. That's good advice, man. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thanks a lot. Thank you.
Tell me to. We were at 9.
Thank
I'm
you.
back.
Good
I
to
was
see
in
you.
town the last time. Remember
Oh,
the
awesome.
the
Yeah.
pipeline
Yes,
shoot?
good to see you.
Let's do it. No fighting.
Oh, we're not going to stop till we get that
I
done.
know,
It is
good.
such corruption and
I
crony
know, thank you.
capitalism, and it's based on this hoax, and the eminent domain is unconstitutional. That's the
Totally.
easiest.
This is my son Weston,
hey.
my youngest boy. So I've got 3 boys.
Good to see you.
So,
nice. Good to
yeah,
see
you
you.
got 2, we got 3. So far, yeah. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate you
All
being
right,
here.
maybe
Keep
we'll
up that
see
fight.
Yeah, I'll see you on
On the 10th?
Maybe on Wednesday.
Yeah, bring as many people.
Whether-
Bring
yeah,
as many
I'm
people as
trying.
yeah.
I'm trying. It's hard, isn't it?
Well, but that's you got to stand and send a message with
I
this
know.
issue. So,
Thank you
you.
very much.
I appreciate you.
Anywhere.
Love this man. Love our truckers. I was just telling poor buddy, the ultimate entrepreneur and the
Thank you, man.
backbone of this country relies on it. I want him as a precinct captain for sure. Yeah. Okay, good. He's a trucker. He actually didn't know about our trucker event, but he says they
and
all
I like also would have brought the book. I ordered the book Woking.
That's
I would have
all right.
had you sign it.
That's all right.
But
We'll do it next
it didn't
time.
come in time.
We'll do it next time. Thank you for coming out, man. What's your name?
Winston
What's your last name again?
Ward. So
Winston
just
Ward.
remember,
WW.
call me Churchill.
Oh, God.
I love it. So just
I like
remember that.
Do you like a bathtub? A good bath in a bathtub? That's Winston Churchill. Yeah, me too.
Oh man, I saw you doing push-ups, man.
Yeah,
I
thank you.
follow
I appreciate
so
that.
think about it this way: when you go in office, I know that gym in the White House never been used.
Yeah, I know. It's gonna be some dusty. We'll dust it off.
I would love to see
I appreciate it. We're gonna pound those out. I like
president
that.
in there, and you just
Pump some bench press. We'll do
you
that.
say when you sit between BB and you're just like this.
Yeah,
he's
I
not
like
gonna say nothing.
I love that. Thank you,
All
man.
right, man.
I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Take care.